I am Alexa Brennan, and this is Alexa Brennan Final Major Project Proposal. Context. Who am I? From what I can gather, my name is Alexa. I play guitar, bass, drums, and mandolin, as well as sing. I consider myself a producer as well, since I produce all my band's music. What I've done this year: taken part in several full-day productions, worked on setting up efficiency, new microphone techniques such as the double kick mic setup as pictured there, helping a band get a song together, because sometimes they don't really know what they're doing. I played a hardcore punk gig with Vermont. I experimented with stage presence and testing the limits of the audience. I released 2 singles with my band Hazard outside of college, got experience mixing and mastering to a high standard, and I also played several gigs in and out of college and getting a lot of experience applying my instrumental and vocal skills. Future aspirations are to continue to improve my production and mastering standards, aiming to meet radio and streaming services of today, because everything's very polished, everything's very high quality, and I like it when my music is. Continue playing gigs and improving instrumentally, naturally, and to continue recording and mixing, releasing music with Hazard, these fellows here, and Sam, who's a bit cut off here because he's too tall. But yeah, that's my aspiration, is I just want to make more music with these people, because I make it better with them than anyone else. My goal for this project is to record a high-quality album for Hazard consisting of 10 or more tracks. The release and promotional process will not be part of the project for time-saving purposes. This project will be helpful to my future because it will give me the experience of the time and effort it takes for a band to make a full-length album. All the songs we walk away with will also be good for my portfolio as a musician. Research. Primary research. I will interview Jethro Chaplin, owner and manager of Monkey Studios in a Vale when-ish. And also the trip itself to Monkey Studios will be a good way of gathering primary research from first-hand experience, or practical means, as I've said down there. Secondary research. I will use books and online videos in order to learn techniques used by successful producers. I hope to learn the nuances of miking guitar amps and how to mix multi-track guitar. I have Steve Albini and Butch Vig videos in mind to do that, because they're always very interesting. They're very engaging. It's the best way to learn, I think. Critical listening. I will critically analyse these tunes based on their similarity. I will critically analyse these tunes based on their similarity to the material I wish to produce during the project. We've got When the Levee Breaks by Led Zeppelin's mean drum sound, Vaccines Made Me Gay by Girlwood, which is that album is just some of the most intense stuff, and so is Paper Cuts by Nirvana. Ball and Biscuit by the White Stripes, that's a mean guitar sound. Run for Cover by The Killers, it's a vibe, and I want to recreate that. And Undone it's just very interesting to me for a lot of reasons, but I'll save the waffle. I'll move on to problem solving. Things I've learned during production. Mainly, have redundancies, because everything goes wrong when you try and make things go right. I always have a backup guitar on hand to save time replacing strings if one breaks. I always have more cables than I need, because chances are the first one or the first 5 you use will be broken. And if you do a job, you should do it properly the first time, because then you don't have to do it again and again if you just do the whole thing at once. Some people don't do. Problems I anticipate. People being really unhelpful, not helping with setting up or packing away or disappearing when needed, because that happens a lot when, you're recording with some people and you really need them, and then they go off to Starbucks for a bit, or go to Narnia, or wherever they disappear to. Coming across recording issues in the mixing process that were missed during the recording phase, and by this I mean some out-of-time drums that I might have not noticed on the day that I'll have to fix in post, and I'm pretty sure with enough, I've sort of learned how to do that. With enough copying and pasting, you can patch that up. But I'll get better at that. Some songs will be too difficult to play to a metronome, which that problem can be solved easily by having sections without drums in them in the final mix be counted along to by hi-hat. That'll keep all of that together. That'll be effective. Planning and production. Phase 1, research/pre-production. The first week of the project will be dedicated to contextual research, such as listening to songs with features I intend to imitate, as well as investigating the experiences of other producers. Phase 2, recording. This process can start relatively quickly, since we've already written all the songs. We'll pack as many recording sessions as we can into this phase, depending on studio availability. Phase 3, mixing. This is the point that I'll mix the songs using techniques I learnt from my primary and secondary research. Phase 4, mastering. This is the point that I'll be mixing, bouncing, listening, and improving upon each mix I make. I'll make sure to listen through headphones, good speakers, as well as car speakers, to make sure the mix sounds good, sounds to my liking. I do that a lot. I listen through car speakers, because that's a really good way of knowing if people can hear everything going on. Phase 5, evaluation. This is the point I'll sit down and finish documenting all the work I've done. Practical skills. Existing skills I'll need to use. Skills I have already, basically. Microphone technique. And that sounds vague, but by that I mean all the ones that I've sort of learned this year, like the double miking with the kick, and the dick mic. That's very fun. Finding good guitar tones, which Dylan Peters can't do. Drum tuning, which Tommy Wilson can't do. But, you know, I've gotten good at it, because I've taken up drums. High quality standard, and by this I mean, you know, saying no to bad takes, because a lot of them are quite bad, and people are lazy, but I don't want to be. Tight timing. I'll also say no to things that are out of time, because, you know, that's how you get a high quality, by saying no to anything that isn't perfect. Maybe that's pretentious, I don't know. Skills I'll need to develop. Efficiency in setting up recording sessions. I haven't been able to fix that, I'm sorry. Efficiency, by that I mean the quicker I can set up, or whoever I'm working with, the quicker we can set up a session, the more we can get done in the day. Using EQ to enhance sounds explains itself. Using parallel effects chains for reverb, that's because I want the album to have a very airy and sort of, you know what I mean, a very reverby sound, a bit like 10, or, yeah. So I'll probably be using a lot of parallel effects, just to make life easier. Yeah, using compression and EQ on the master bus, which I've learnt makes things sound beefy. Patching up mistakes by copying and pasting other sections, and by that I mean what I said before, which is when mistakes slip through the cracks, and you need to patch them up later by taking bits from before and moving them to cover up the mistake, essentially. And I'm not particularly amazing at all of these, but I'm hoping to develop them. Resources I need. For most of the project, all I need is a Mac equipped with Pro Tools, and internet access, obviously. For the recording phase, I'll need access to the studio and all the mics. Evaluation and reflection. Daily evaluation. At the end of every recording session, I'll also write a written evaluation of the day, considering all aspects, from the setting up to the recording, and also the packing up, and the final result of the day. I didn't write that well, but it's fine. I will also consider what I could do better the next week. This will be documented on my website. Regular listening sessions. During the recording phase, before packing away, we'll gather peers and listen to whatever we manage to record in the day, and they'll decide if it's good or not good, I guess. Timing myself. This may be a bit unnecessary, but I like doing it. During the setting up process for each recording session, I will time myself from the moment the studio door opens to when the last gain levels have been set and we're ready to record, because I can get very good at it. My quickest time is like 40 minutes, which is pretty quick. Evaluation and reflection. I don't know why I've said that twice. That doesn't make sense. Whoops. Wait, what's this supposed... Presentation, that's what it's supposed to say. Apologies. The project will be documented on my website. Each phase will have its own page, but there'll also be a separate research page, which I'll link to whenever I refer to research I've done, just so the research isn't sort of scattered messily about the phase page like it was during my last project. It helps it be a bit cleaner, so I can just have clean dates day after day, and then the research I can just link to. The bibliography will also have its own page. The final product presentation, which is essentially just the last songs, the outcome of the project, there'll be a separate page to display the final tracks, much in the same format as last year, and I'll also include a video of listening sessions with peers for each of the songs to see how other people thought they turned out, not just us. Proposed bibliography. I'm not going to read it all out, but here it is, just so you can see it, because that seems like a good idea. It seems like a good thing to include. The end.